Michael Jess, the kitchen platform manager at Whitbread, said warewashing machines are probably the biggest single equipment cost in every kitchen. Therefore, sourcing a realistic cost and maintenance agreement to ensure minimal downtime of the machine could be a priority for all operators. With this concern in mind, David, how can suppliers help operators to overcome operational challenges?
Hi, Josh. I think with that, it's very much down to their service team that they have in place. We all like minimal downtimes on any piece of equipment, and failures can happen. So I think they should probably look at potentially having spare parts readily available. We use Partstown currently, so parts can be with them within 24 hours, or they could even look at having parts on site ready to be used. So it's, that's probably the way forward.
Thank you. And a leading hotel operator also noted that warewash manufacturers are simplifying the display panels to ensure that the team can operate the machine by a touch of a button. However, some of the displays are small and could be bigger. They also called for an option for different languages. Which solutions and services can suppliers such as Wexiödisk provide for end users to help resolve these concerns?
Good question, Josh. We've been very fortunate this year where we've introduced our new touch control panel on our rack machines and our granular machines as well. So this is quite a large screen. It can be in different colours. So you've got your standard screen. If there's a major failure, basically, somebody's hit an emergency button, it will go red for the emergency. You can see exactly on the screen, it highlights which button is being pushed to go and correct it, and you can remedy the fault that it may be. As for languages, we have 19 different languages that it can be changed at a touch of a button, quite literally. And touching the screen can be used with gloves as well. So you don't actually, as many of the dishwashing people are wearing gloves, they haven't got to take them off to be able to touch the button. Gloves stay on, touch the screen, very easy to operate. So, yeah.
Thanks, David. And running costs are also a big issue for all businesses at the moment, and much has heard of suppliers who claim to offer money-saving equipment through reduced power and energy usage. How important is this, and are the savings worth the investment?
I would say the savings of the investment, you should definitely invest in things like our Duplus model with the EcoFlow heat recovery system. We've put those into the Liberation Group, and they actually had an independent test done on our machines and other machines that they already had in the estate to make sure we lived up to the claims that we were making. And we were actually quite surprised by the results that they came out with. So they are now saving near on 50% of their energy costs on their warewashing now that they're using our WD6 Duplus with the EcoFlow heat recovery. They're also saving on their water because our Duplus only uses 1 litre of water per wash, which is, compared to most of the other models, a 2/3 saving, which also means they don't use as much chemicals either. So it's almost a win-win-win for them, and they carried out that research independently. So we had nothing to do with that. So that was great as far as we were concerned. And they will now only take our Duplus machines with the heat recovery moving forward. So, I very much think anybody else looking at warewashing should at least consider looking at the Wexiödisk Duplus machine.
Thank you. Another multi-site operator with locations across the UK said one of the big operational challenges at the moment is the sourcing of spare parts for equipment and the cost that comes with that. It has become very expensive to repair machines that are typically not that old and just outside the warranty, the operator said. What advice can you provide for operators to help them secure the best spare parts?
As far as Wexiödisk is concerned, we don't seem to have that issue. We find our spare parts are very competitively priced compared to a lot of others. So therefore, the machine doesn't become beyond economical repair. It's very economical to fix the machine. We've been going over 50 years now, and you can still get spare parts for the machines that have been installed 50 years ago. All our parts come from Partstown, so they're in stock in the UK, ready to go. So I think, again, is a little bit of people doing their homework, a bit like the first question, of not only looking at the price of the machine when they look at buying it, but also look at the on costs of how much are the spare parts once it comes out of warranty and moving forward.
Thank you. A leading restaurant group commented that dishwashers do not need to be made overly technical. How can suppliers help to simplify the engineering and usability of warewashing appliances to accommodate low-skilled workers in the kitchen?
The Wexiödisk machine's always been quite a simple machine to use. What we've done just recently to help it even a little bit more, all machines come with a QR code now. So the operator can just get their phone, because everybody has a mobile phone these days. They just scan that and it automatically takes them to a user video of how it can be used. And that user video is in several different languages as well. So we also, when the machine, if it's a new machine, we come with a pictorial acetate that can be put on the wall or on the side of the machine. So it's purely just pictures of the items to be removed, to be cleaned, for instance, or just simple an opening and closing procedure in a pictorial form. So they just glance at that and they can see that the filters should be in place, how to turn on the machine, and all those simple items. So that's how Wexiödisk sort of overcome that, because we are a global brand with machines going all over the world.
Brilliant. Thanks, David. And Andy Kershaw, Director of Property at Marston's, raised a big concern, saying that operators are not looking after equipment correctly, changing water, changing filters, etc. How can operators make sure they are looking after equipment and keeping it clean, and what training can be offered around this from suppliers?
That one is sort of a little bit of a, back in my day from the operating, I think with all areas you have an opening procedure and a closing down procedure. So with the dishwasher, before they use it, they need to make sure that the filters have been cleaned from the day before. And if they haven't been, make sure it has been cleaned and maintained from that point of view. And after a service, let's say they've had a busy service, empty that water out and then put clean, fresh water into that machine. Also, very often you see the machines just left on with the same water, and it almost turns into soup that they're washing up with, because they're not pre-washing the plates well enough before they go into the machine. And it goes into the machine, all that food and debris that's left on the plates and cups are just going into that water. So therefore the machine is then asking for more detergent as well, and the result isn't good enough. So I think there's just some basic good housekeeping training in-house on how the machine should be looked after on a day-to-day basis is key, really, to maintaining the machine to its best results.
Thanks, David. And are there any other sort of closing or final pieces of advice that you would have for operators of warewashing machines and how to get the most out of products?
I think it's a bit like the last question. The best is maintaining of the machine. It's making sure if you've got a salt-based softener that is topped up with salts, you're not getting scale inside the machine, because that obviously affects the result of the wash. And also the effect of the machine, because you start to get scale building up on the elements, which can then cause a failure. When they've finished the shift, the machine isn't just emptied and the filter's done, the whole machine is cleaned. Our machines have a cleaning function on them, but you still need to get into the little areas where that won't necessarily get cleaned to maintain that machine is cleaned properly. You see the chefs clean down the kitchens properly. The guys in the pot wash area need to be cleaning down the machine properly as well. And again, I think that's down to the management team putting a procedure in place that the machine is cleaned, sanitizers are used, and it's left nice and clean, ready for the next service moving forward. And a maintenance contract as well. That is a really good thing to do. So the machine is being serviced on a regular basis. I mean, I like to see a minor service every 6 months and a major service every 12 months on the machine to keep it in good order. Like one of the previous questions, where it's probably one of the biggest investments in the kitchen. Therefore, maintenance is key